Hi, this video is to show you how to use Make It Rust by Sculpting. Make It Rust by Sculpting consists of some metal nuggets, which look like this. You also have two solutions. Solution 1 Solution 2, and included is a little spoon just to help you get the metal onto what you're making. Now these are ones that I've been using, so that's why it's got my initial on and why my spoon's a bit grubby. So yesterday I made this mask, and I made it with sculpting fabric hardener, and I've just added some embellishments. Some of them are card, some of them are made from foam, some of them are metal, so it's different sorts of embellishments, and I've painted both sides of the mask. Now the first thing I want to do is paint the mask, and I'm using a sort of turquoisey acrylic. Now it's up to you which acrylic you use, it doesn't really make any difference, but this just gives it the background. So I'm going to water it down slightly. So I'm going to put the acrylic here. I'm going to get my rust nuggets ready, my little spoon. And what I'm going to do is use a paintbrush that isn't hard. Use a paintbrush, add a little bit of water to the acrylic because I don't want it too thick. And I'm literally going to just paint on this watery acrylic mixture. It doesn't really make that much difference how watery it is or how thick it is, to be honest. But I find the wateriness just helps. So I'm covering it all over, as you can see. It doesn't matter if some black bits show through, that's absolutely fine. And to make it a little bit more water. You can see this one's slightly thicker than the first time I did it, but as I said, it's no problem. So once I've done that, the next thing I want to do is to get my rust nuggets, and we don't really need an awful lot of these. So just get a few on your little spoon and just sprinkle them where you want the rust to be. The acrylic paint helps them to stick, so that's why I'm putting it on while the acrylic paint is still wet. Otherwise, there isn't anywhere for them to stick to. And I'm using tiny amounts. Obviously, if you want to do it thicker, you can, but then you're going to use it up a lot quicker. For the next part, make sure you're wearing gloves because the solutions can irritate skin. So if you wear gloves, you know you'll be safe. So you start off with solution 1. Give it a shake and just, now there are on and off buttons, so I don't know how well you can see this, but if I push it, at the moment it's off. If I push it this way, it's on. It does actually say on and off. So if you push it on the on side, then you can use it. If you push it on the off side, you can't use it. So we want it on. So I'm just going to spray a generous helping of solution 1 all over this. And leave it for approximately 30 seconds. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit sooner than 30 seconds or a little bit later. It doesn't make an awful lot of difference. Shake solution 2 and spray that on. And you can see, well, I hope you can see that it starts rusting pretty quickly. And that's enough. Now, I would leave this outside if you can. It seems to rust a lot better if you leave it in the sunlight. But you don't have to, you can just leave it here. So you can see it's already started to rust. And it will rust more as it dries. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go away. At the moment it's almost 2:15. So I'm going to come back probably in about 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then we'll have a look and see how it's getting on. Hi, I'm back and it's almost past, so it's been approximately 15 minutes. I'm going to put my gloves back on. As I said, protect your hands because the solutions can cause skin irritations, so it's not worth taking the chance. So if you look, I hope you can see on the video that it is starting to rust. Now it will carry on rusting, so it won't just rust this amount. So if I leave this overnight or until it's dry, it will have rusted more. If it's not rusted enough, you can always go over it again. So say I think that this bit here hasn't got enough rusting, I can just spray another bit of solution 1 and then solution 2, and it will rust it a little bit more, but it will carry on rusting. So I'm going to leave this now until it dries, and then I'll come back to you and I will do some dry brushing once it's dry. Well, I'm back now, and as you can see, the mask is dry, and I hope you can see all the rust that is around it. Now, if that's not enough rust for you, so you can see like there's areas here and here that haven't got any rust, you can always go over it again. So if there's some areas that you feel hasn't got enough, just redo it. I'm going to do some dry brushing now. When you dry brush, make sure your brush is wet, and that puts the dampness in the ferrules, so it helps your brush not stiffen up, so it's better for your brush. So I'm using Sculpting Gold pigment, and I'm using Sculpting Pigment Fixative. So I'm going to put a small amount of the fixative on here, dipping my brush in it and making sure that I work it well in, because I want that to go right through the brush. Dip it into the pigment, and I hope you can see this, I hope I'm not off. And then mix the pigment in with the fixative. Mix it well because you want that pigment to get right inside the brush. Then wipe your brush off on both sides, and then apply it to the highlights. Now if you use your brush flat, you'll find that it will pick up the higher parts rather than the background. And just carry on as you go. some of these. And it's just working, getting as much of the metallic-y look in it as you want. This also works really well with the bronze and the copper. Because this is very dry now, I'm not worrying about wiping it off because there's very little left on that mat. Now that I've put a bit too much, so if it's too much, if you get it quickly, you can just wipe it off. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you like the rust effects. Put a little bit on her lips. And thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy the videos, please subscribe. It would be lovely to have your subscription. And we're also on Facebook. We've got a Facebook channel, Facebook group, sculpting group. So join us there. I'll put the link below. And thank you very much. Bye.